welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to start with some absolutely terrific news. If you watched yesterday's video, which I really recommend, was a tribute to Jack Lance, an absolute genius who was unfortunately taken from the world far too young. Well, anyway, during the introduction to that video, I mentioned that Andrew and Paula down there in Oz were expecting a baby yesterday, and I can report that they have indeed had a beautiful baby girl, which we are thrilled about here. So many congratulations. It's just fantastic news, and we are delighted. Anyway, that's not what this video is really about. This video is going to be me attempting to solve a puzzle called Hiding Spots, and it's by Xendari, and this is a normal arrow Sudoku. Arrow Sudoku? What's a Sudoku? I have no idea. But this is an arrow Sudoku, and apparently it's quite hard, but utterly brilliant. So this is what my task is going to be. And I'll just mention this. I will read the rules properly a bit later in the video. But if you actually look at this puzzle, ignore this box for a moment. It's entirely symmetrical. Everything. By that I mean if we were to draw a line up the positive diagonal and then we sort of folded the puzzle on itself, everything would just be in the same position. It's really remarkably symmetrical, which probably means that if we find some logic in, well, it does mean if we find some logic in one part of the grid, we should be able to instantly apply it in another part of the grid too. So it could be quite an interesting solve, this one. I'm assured it will be, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting. So that's going to be something we're going to try in a moment or two. What can I tell you about before we get to that? Few things. We've done, it's Friday, and that means it's time for our Times Crossword Masterclass. This is the 16th edition that we've done today. It was my solve of today's puzzle. Very tough puzzle, actually, and very interesting indeed. So if you want to improve at cryptic crosswords, I do think those videos have something to offer. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. Next, I'm going to tell you a little story about real life. Now, some of you know that I am a very keen golfer, and my cracking the cryptic life and my golfing life overlap really very little. But I was at my golf club recently, and a friend of mine came over and we started talking, and he mentioned that he just had a book published, and I'll show you a copy of the book. It's called A Digital Tomato, and it's by R.M.Frith. Now, I'm going to call him Robert because he's my friend Robert. Anyway, I got the book, and I've just finished it, and I really like it, so I'm going to recommend it to you. I don't get paid for this. I'm not doing this I'm doing it because I know Robert, but also because I did genuinely like it. It's called A Digital Tomato, and some of you will instantly think, a digital tomato, what could that it sort of sounds a bit like A Clockwork Orange, and it is a very gentle parody of A Clockwork Orange. It has its own patois as well, which you have to sort of get used to reading in the first couple of pages, but it's soon your brain will get used to it, and it's a really good story, and it's a very rare story in my experience anyway of recent books I've read, in that I have thought about it having finished the book a few times. It's thought-provoking, and it's got a cool protagonist, a sort of I don't know. I think Henrietta, who's the protagonist, is some sort of computer programming wizard, and yeah, she's just a very interesting character. I think she would watch Cracking the Cryptic. Anyway, so I'll try and remember to put a link to Amazon after this. I've just finished it, really liked it, so I thought I'd share that with you. Next, what else? Birthdays. Oh yes, I've got birthdays to do today. I will start with Emily over there in Denmark. And Emily, I know it's your birthday. Your boyfriend David wrote to us, and he said that you enjoy the channel very much, But I want to congratulate you, Emily, on recruiting David to the Cracking the Cryptic cause, because I understand that now you and David watch the videos together. I won't share the delightful video, which did make me laugh, that David sent us of Emily humming the theme music to Cracking the Cryptic just before going to sleep. But I will wish you both a fantastic day today, and Emily, I hope that you are able to have the suitable amount of chocolate cake, of course. And then Christian, over there in Texas. Christian, you've turned 19. Thank you very much for your kind email. We enjoyed it, and I understand you proposed to spend your birthday today doing good Sudoku puzzles and having a family dinner out at a restaurant. That sounds lovely. So, Christian, many happy returns, and I hope you have a good one. And that's all. That's all. Now it's time to do solving. Excellent. I will read you the rules of Hiding Spots by Xendari. They are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. So we haven't got many long arrows today. I'm just trying to find it. There are 3 cell arrows. Let's use this one. So whatever we put into those 3 squares, let's say we put 1, 3 and 5 in. 1 plus 3 plus 5 equals 9. So we put 9 in the circle. Why is my phone buzzing at me? That is the usual WhatsApp nonsense. So, yeah, very simple rules, leads to some wonderful puzzles. We've got a whole app full of these puzzles if you do enjoy this sort of thing. The way to play this puzzle, though, is to click the link under the video as usual, and that will take you to a page that looks identical to this one, where you can play the puzzle on whichever device takes your fancy. But now, I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, let's get cracking. I mean, there is... Those 3 digits are all the same, aren't they? Because of the short, stubby little arrows coming out of this circle. Yes. Okay, I can see something here. These 2 are the same as well. So I'm going to go full colouring today. I've got those and those, but now. That's very interesting for the nature of blue, I think. Because blue, by Sudoku, has to be on this arrow, because it can't be here in the circle. Because if it was in the circle, it would get transplanted here and be in the same box as itself. And that will break the rules of normal Sudoku. So blue lives on this arrow, but blue, by Sudoku in this column, also sits on this arrow. So this is something we're going to have to constantly be aware of, is whenever we find logic in one direction, we're going to apply that logic around the symmetry of the positive axis, because unless that logic involves this box, it ought to work twice. Right, oh, this is lovely. This is very cool, because we've just done it that way. When I say that way, that's not really helpful, is it? But blue goes up here. But now where does yellow go? In this box. And it can't go on an arrow that adds up to blue, because that would create an instant paradox in the world. Because what we've effectively learnt here is that yellow is greater than blue, because in order to get to a value of yellow, we have to add something to blue along this arrow. So we can't possibly put yellow on this arrow and say it adds up to blue unless one of these numbers was negative. And that doesn't work within the paradigm of normal Sudoku. So that's got to be yellow. And therefore we should do exactly the same, and that's got to be orange. Yeah, okay, I was just wondering, I mean, it was a stupid thought, but I suddenly thought, are yellow and orange definitely different? Because I was going to try and do some Sudoku in this box. But yellow and orange are definitely different, obviously, because they live in box 5 together. And they're good neighbourly friends by the looks of things. Right. Ah, okay, but that digit's now interesting, isn't it? So we've got a whole series of things going on here, because blue, if we think about the value of blue, blue is at least equal to 3. I'm not sure whether it can be 3, because that would require both of those arrows to be a 1-2 pair. But let's say it can be 3, so that's at least 3, which means 3 is on both of these arrows. Which means, but orange and yellow can't be the same number. So one of orange and so although one of these could in theory be 4, the other one will have to be 5. So one of these is at least 5. to which we're adding at least a 2, aren't we? So this must be 7, 8 or 9, I think. 3 plus 1 plus 2 make this 5 and 4. Make these 5 and 4. Yeah, although could you do 2 and 1 the other way round then? Hang on, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me just think about that again. If this was this is at least 3. 3 must be added to at least 2. So one of these is at least 5. So one of these is at least 5. So one of these is at least 5. But if I add only 1 to 5 in this box, that would give me 6. And if I added 2 to the 4 in this box, that would give me 6. Okay, so maybe I can't be as reckless as I was in getting rid of a 7 on this arrow. Although it does, if that would certainly put a... Oh, okay, maybe that breaks this thing then. If I put 1 and 2 on this arrow, how does that affect the world? Because then the minimum value of those 4 squares would be 3, 4, 5 and 6, which equals 18. Which would make the... Oh, that's fine. That makes that a 9. Okay, well that's not very good. In fact, it's probably right, I'm now thinking. Because that seemed to be a very natural way of looking at it. Okay, yeah, so maybe I should have started down here. I'm just thinking there are so many digits on arrows in box 7, and they all have to be different. So we can see that the triangular number for 6 is probably relevant down here, because the minimum these can be would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these 6 cells add up to at least 21. Yeah, 21 is the minimum there. And then these 2 squares we know are at least, what did we say, a 4, 5 pair. So that's 30. 30 is the minimum sum for these 4 arrows. Yeah. And that's so that's why if this is 6, this is 9, and we basically double 6 for 2 values of this arrow and double 9 for 2 values of this arrow. Okay, but these have to add up to at least 15, because we know that these add up to at least 30 divided by 2. Okay, so how do we limit this a little bit further? What's going to be the way to do that? Haven't got a Scooby-Doo. I know these are different. Do we have to think about the maximum value of this? I would have thought this could be quite big. I mean, it clearly can't be 8, can it? Because if it's 8, both of these instantly become 9. If it's 7... Yeah, it doesn't work if it's 7 because these have to be different, and one of them would have to be 9, and therefore one of these would have to be 9, and this would have to be double digits. If it's 6, I feel like that's going to be difficult as well. If it's 6, then the absolute minimum for these 2 squares is a 7-8 pair. So these would be a 7-8 pair. This doesn't work for a rather cute reason to do with the logic we've been talking about. So imagine this was a 7-8 pair. These would have to be a 1-2 pair, because one of these is 8, so this is clearly a 9. But we've just looked at the case of where this was a 1-2 pair, and we worked out that because this arrow had to be 3, 4, 5 and 6 at a minimum, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18 divided by 2 puts a 9 here, so we'd have double 9. So that doesn't work. So this is not able to be 6. So this is now 3, 4 or 5. Although 5 I think is going to be possible because 6 was only just scuppered by the double 9 problem. Let's take out that 1 and 2. That's unlikely to be correct. Okie dokie. Maybe a better thought actually is to do it the other way round and to think about this digit. Because if that's very little, if that's a 6 for example, am I not going to take away too many low digits? I'm not sure. Let me just think about that. So if this is 6, these would be a 1, 2, 4, 5 quadruple. And the minimum value of those squares would then be a 3 and a 6. But whichever one of those was 6, well, yeah, we know that these are bigger than 3, don't we? Because we know that the minimum these are is a 4, 5 pair. So if we try and add a 6 to a 4 even, we get to 10. So no, that is not 6. Aha. Okay, I'm going to try that. Oh, 7 might be different though, because there's so many different ways of getting to 7. So we don't even have to use 1 here anymore. So we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yeah, I mean if I used... I still have to take up 4 of those digits, don't I? And I've got to use 2 little digits. So these are the minimum sum of those 2 squares now is going to be a 3 and a 4. Well, that works. 3 and 4 work. Because if these were 4 and 5, I can add 3 and 4 to 4 and 5, and that will work. Okay. All right. So that's quickly died a death. Well, right. If that's 3, sorry, I'm doing this. I don't know if there's a more holistic way of doing this, but I'm just trying to work out how the restrictions on all these arrows operate together. If these were a 1, 2 pair, if this was 3. We get a 1, 2 pair in the middle box then. Ah, that doesn't work. Right, I think this is 5. This is lovely. Right, this is quite clever actually. I don't think this the total for this arrow can be the same in both directions, because that digit I think is going to be a Sudoku problem. Let me show you. If this was 3, then obviously these 2 squares are both 1, 2, which means this digit is a 1 or a 2. But whatever it is, it's on this arrow and it's on this arrow. So if this was a 2, both of these would have the same total because they're both adding blue to 2. If this was a 1, they're both adding blue to 1. So this just doesn't work, because that's going to force these 2 numbers to be the same. So that obviously rules out 4 as well, because if this is 1 and 3, you've got exactly the same Sudoku problem on both sides of the arrow. So the symmetry is hurting the puzzle. Well, it's hurting the ability of this circle to only have one combination to make it. So this needs to be 5, and that's going to help, because now one of these arrows can be 1, 4, and one of them can be 2, 3. Ah! They are from low digits, but now, well, now whatever this is, it's not by Sudoku going to be forced by these dominoes to be on that arrow and that arrow. If this was a low digit, let's say it's a 3, and this was 2, 3, it would be forced onto that one, but this is going to be 1, 4, and it wouldn't be forced onto that one as well, so it would allow those two to be different. Right, and we've got 3 digits as a result of this. which is going to be absolutely mighty. Right, so we know that there's now 5s on... Right, goodness me. Okay, so we now know there's 5s on both of these arrows. So we know these circles are at least 6. So these are at least 6. And we know that they can't get as high as 9 because we can't put 9 in there. So these are 6, 7 or 8. Which means that the digits on the arrows are 1, 2, 3 or 5. But don't we know that this can't be a 7, 8 pair because that forces the 1, 2 pair and breaks this one. Right, so there is a 6 on one of these arrows. I don't know how we pencil mark this. We can pencil mark it there, but we can't pencil mark it here. But if there's a 6 in one of those arrows, that's not 6. Well, and there's at least a 7 in the other one, so that's not 7. So we're up to 8 or 9 in this square. And this is either a 6, 8 pair or a 7, 8 pair. Right, so we should just fill these in, shouldn't we? These are 6, 7 or 8. And the gap is 1, 2 or 3 then into these two squares. There's something else going on here, you know. That digit sees all 3 of those digits, doesn't it? So this is a quadruple, I think. Might be wrong about that, but that's what that feels like. Because we know these two are different. And we know these two are different from that one because they both have to have numbers added to them to get to this one. So these 3 are different, and that one sees all 3 of them, so that's different. I don't know if that helps us, but certainly those 4 cells do now add up to 30. They are 6, 7, 8, and 9 in some order. I wish I knew what that meant. I don't think I do. Sorry. Okay, I'm not sure. Can we... Just wondering, is there really a problem with 7 here? That's what it feels like. It feels 7 is difficult to me. Because so many low digits are going to be used up. That's going to be a 7, 8, 9 triple, isn't it? Because we certainly can't put... If that's 7, you can't put 8 or 9 in those squares. So that's going to be an 8, 9 pair. 7 requires these to add up to 14. Oh, that's strange. Okay, that doesn't work. There is definitely a different way of seeing this, but what I'm noticing now is that those digits there we know they have to add up to 21 at least, because there's 6 different digits. So if those 2 add up to, or those 4 add up to 14, plus 2 plus 3, that is not 21. That's only 19. 19 is less than 21. That is a knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. So that pushes that up to at least 8. So now does 8 even? 8, 16. Yeah, 8 does work if this was a 2, 3 pair. Right, so there's got... I was going to say there's got to be a way of disambiguating this. but I'm not sure that's true. If that's 8, that's going to force these to be 6, 7, these to be 1, 2. Oh, that works, doesn't it? Because then you get 3, 4, 5, 6 on the line, which has an average of 9. All right, what if that's 9? That's going to make this 8. Oh, that's so easy. Oh, it's lovely. Yeah, okay, that doesn't work. Right. And this is easy to see now I think about it, but because, in fact, I could have seen this with 7 as well. I don't know what's wrong with my brain. My brain, you and I need to have a strong conversation, because brain, you have not worked today. That's appalling. Right. Well, look, if this is 8 and if it was 7, there are two of the combinations to make 8 are used up. And they are going to take 2 of the low digits away. So if it's 8, it's going to take either 1, 7, 2, 6, or 3, 5. It's going to take 2 of those away. So that's going to force those to be a repeated digit. And that's, of course, that's the same if that's 7. If this was, say, 1, 6, and 2, 5, those would be double 3. So this could never have been 7 or 8, and I was totally and utterly bumbling. So this is 9. This at least moves us forward, though. This is 9. This is 8. So these can't be 8, so they are a 6, 7 pair. Let's take 8 out of there, take 8 out of there. We can take 6 out of here. 3 out of here, actually. Oh yes, because we're in this world now, aren't we? Where we've got 3, 4, 5 and 6 on the 9 arrow. 7 in the box goes here by Sudoku. I wonder if we're going to discover that this diagonal is the set of the digits 1 to 9, actually. No, that doesn't work. This circle is adding up 4 different digits, so if we make those 4 digits as small as possible, we get 1, 2, 3, 4. The triangular number 4 is 10, so that means this arrow must have an average of at least 5, and that's going to lead to a repeated digit, isn't it? Oh, no, not if that's 6, actually. 6 would work. Oh, I'm quite excited about that. Yes, I know, again, don't bump into me at parties. The things I can find amusement in. Why can't that be a 6? I don't think there's a good reason. Ooh, okay, we're going to keep an eye on that cell. Right, okay, so what has this told us about the world? That digit is either there or there. I can tell you that, because one thing that's not clear from the pencil marking, but because remember what we said about the 5, the reason this was 5 is because this and this are different. They're a different combination. So this digit is in one of those cells, because this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple, and that digit is in one, well, that digit is there or there. Yeah, that's not very, it doesn't actually, I sort of can't use that, I don't think. Okay. Orange in this box is in one of 2 places. Let's use that. So that should allow us to do exactly the same with yellow in this box, one of 2 places. So yellow's in one of 3 places, and orange is in one of 3 places. Okay. Can I do more with 5s, actually? Oh, yes, 5s come out of those 2 squares. We're adding up to 9, so 4s come out of these 2 squares. Oh, I see. Right. Okay, that cell's restricted, isn't it? That can't be 6, 7, 5 or 8. Now, can it actually really be 4? I don't know. I know it can't be 3. But it's 4 or 9, and that must be the same. So that's 4 or 9. Now, let's think about this. Can this actually be 4, which would require very specifically double 1, 2? No, for that reason. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. It can't be 4 because the 1, 2 pair that would be forced here breaks that cell. And presumably, yeah, it works the same in column 2. Right, so this square is a 9. Now, how is that going to be made up? The answer is I have not got a clue. But that's 9 as well, isn't it? So 9 is in one of 3 places in box 5. Oh, no, it's better to look at row 8. Where does 9 go? And one thing we know about 9s, you can't put them on arrows that are more than 1 cell long, because you'll run out of digits once you if we put the 9 there, 9 plus 1 is 10, and we can't put 10 into a Sudoku. At least not this Sudoku. Now, we get exactly the same, of course, up there. 9, I thought we were going to get 9 in box 3, but we're not. That's the first time we've done really anything intelligent in this box. That's weird as well, isn't it? Well, we get that, but it doesn't really do anything at all. You can't put 8 there, so 8 is a little bit restricted in this box. And presumably that must be the case in this box. Can't put 8 here. 8 is in one of those 6 cells. Wow. Oh dear, this now feels like it's... I don't understand. Okay, what am I meant to do now? I fear there's some aspect of this 9 arrow that I'm not understanding. But I mean, why couldn't that be double 1? I mean, it can't be double 1 because that can't be 7, but double 2, 5 is fine. I mean, all the usual combinations: 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this digit isn't. I don't think it is restricted. The only way it would be restricted, actually, is if the low digit there was the same as the low... it was different from the low digit there. Ah! There's no 3 on this arrow now, is there? Because it's not adding up to 8, which must be the same on both sides. Right. So, okay. So it's only going to be 1s and 2s we can work this on. I'm just wondering if there must be a 1 or a 2 on this arrow that adds up to 5. Can we prove it's different than the 1 or the 2 that lives there? I have no idea. Let's imagine that was a 6. Then this would be a 1-5 pair. Orange would be 6. So this is a 6. So this is a 2. That's a 1. That's a 7. I'm pausing there because I can't see how to do it. But it feels like there ought to be a way of me knowing something useful about these 4 cells. Or maybe they can't. Maybe if they're the same, do I get a problem in this box? I don't think I do. I think either of those could be the common digit. No, I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. How do we do this? We could... Do we know anything about that? No. No, we don't. I think there's got to be some way of linking digits together here in a more meaningful way. I mean, it could just be Sudoku, but Come on, Simon. What is it you're missing here? Right, I'm going to highlight these digits. So let's make one of those purple. Okay, so we're going to say this is a 5, which is our blue digit, and a purple digit. So purple is the 1 or the 2. Now the 1, that means I ought to be able to colour one of these purple. How do I do that? So again, let's try this one being 6. If that's 6, this is 1, 5. And this would be 6. So this would be 2 to make 8. And that would be 1. And that would be adding to 7. Right, so that's purple, is it? Is that what we're learning? Let's just try it the other way. If that was 7, this is 2. That's 7. Yeah, so it works the opposite way around. Right, so I can colour. Right, so these two squares, let's make those... let's get rid of that green, because that's not doing much for us, is it? So now I get green here. Now, green is now in either this square or this square around the 5, and purple is either in one of the other two squares. Bobbins. We don't know, or at least I don't think we know, how to differentiate green and purple around this 5 arrow. I don't think we know that, but there might be a way of doing it, but I'm not sure. Okay. This is interesting. I was trying to find commonality or disparity between these two dominoes. But actually now look, green and purple are looking at that digit from this box, which is interesting. So now this can't be a 1 or a 2 and has to be at least a 3. Which means these squares add up to a maximum of 6. What is this digit actually? It could be 3, it could be 4. It can't be 5, 6 or 7 because of my yellow and orange highlighting. And it can't be... Well, it clearly can't be 8, so it is 3 or 4. Right, so there's going to be something going on between these now. This is fantastically clever, by the way. It's quite difficult to understand, but it's fantastically clever. That's just 3 or 4. That's just going to be the same logic because we didn't invoke anything from this box. So if that is 4, it could be 4, 1 still, couldn't it? So now I think I know that whatever that is appears on that arrow, which is that interesting? Is that worthy of our attention? Might be. I don't know. Wow. Sorry, I'm not spotting this. Green and green are knocked out of those two squares. So green in row 4 has only 2 possible positions now. And obviously this is the one that would really tell us something about the world, because that would force that to be green. But if green was here, then that would be green. Okay, no, that's not enough, unfortunately. I don't know how to do it. Oh, Simon, do I know these are different, are they, or are they the same? I don't know that even, do I? Hang on. Let me mull that over. Oh no, they must be different because these are different. Right, so these are different flavours of 3, 4. Right, I'm going to colour these. So one of those can be red, one of them can be grey. And that means one of these is grey and one of these is red. So red is not there. So does that mean that's red? And if that's true, why couldn't I do that the other way round? That's so strange. That feels right, doesn't it, I think? If I can prove these two are different, they must be different because these are different. And I know this is a 3, 4, so it cannot be the same flavour of that. So it is the same flavour of that, which means that red digit can't go there, it's not there. Yeah, okay, I believe that. That's red, so I should be able to apply the same logic down here and prove that this is grey. So now I've got a virtual 3, 4 pair in this row. So in fact, this circle now, it's not 3, 4 or 5, is it? It must be at least a 3, so it's not 3, 4, 5. So it's either 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Now, whoopsie. I know it's not yellow, whatever yellow happens to be, so that must be the same. So one of these is stopped from being a 6 and is at least a 7, because one of these is a 6 and will be in the same row as it, or the same column as it. Red is in one of those cells. I don't know if that's worth noting. I think this is, this is getting slightly desperate now. Red's in one of these squares. The same is going to be true for grey. The same must be true for grey up there. And in this row, what have we got? We've got a 5, 6, 7, 3, 4, 9 combination. So we're left with... Oh, well, hang on. Where's green in this row now? That's not green. So green is here. That's lovely. Good grief. So that means where does 8 go in this row? It can only go here. Oh, got a repeated digit on the positive diagonal. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so this is now 1 or 2. Green is in one of those squares. We're going to repeat all this logic, of course, for this column and check it, very much check it. So the question here is where does purple go? Purple is not there by definition. Purple is not... Well, we didn't know purple wasn't here until we forced this square to be the 3 or the 4. So, okay, so that does make sense a bit. So now this square is purple. So, oh, this is gorgeous. Does that mean that's not purple? Oh, this is huge. This is huge. Because if that's not purple, Purple, which must exist on this quadruple, is now here. And that means that square is not 3 or 4. Now, was this, which is that one. So yeah. So yes, red is in one of these two positions, and it must now be this one. So we get red, we get purple, we get, so this is green, grey, and we know the order. And grey is the 3-4 digit, so we can put that in. So green is down here. I don't know if that's worth notating, but I'm going to take it. These squares have got to include purple. What are those two squares then? Oh, I see, they're 6, 7 or 8, but we don't know, because we don't know, we haven't worked out which one of these is yellow yet. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit and lay. Right, so there are 3, 4 pair. Right, so these squares are 1, 2, and 9 in the middle box, and we know green is in one of those two. I'm going to highlight that, which must mean that the other colour, which was no, not red, purple, is in one of those two. And we know for sure, basically, this is going to be the 9, because the symmetry. I'd be astonished if this isn't a 9, and the 1 and the 2 sit on opposite sides of the positive diagonal, but I can't prove it. Right, so what's this told us about everything? So, Oh, I know what it's told us. Look at that. That square's got higher than it's ever had any right to be before. That is now at least a 3. So that means that we're adding at least, so these two add up to at least 7. And that means that's got to be green. Is that right? I think that's right. I'm just going to, let me think about that for a moment. Yeah, it must be right. If these are 1, 2, the minimum value of these is 3 plus 4. So this must be a 1 or a 2, and it can't be purple, so it is green. That's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous setting this is. Now, so this square is 3, 4 or 5, I want to say. 5, 3 and 1 would be the maximum we could get to. And this is not a 4, 5 pair, so there is I don't know how right, that's not a 3. Because there must be a 3 in here, because otherwise this is a 4, 5 pair. So this square is not a 3, which means that square is not a 6. But we're going to get, I think this digit has to be purple. Let's just check. So this, yeah, it's exactly the same, isn't it? So this is 3, 4 or 5. It would be helpful actually if we could work out that it was not 5, because then it would be the grey digit. And that would allow us to position grey on this. Well, exactly, we get this square as grey as well, which would be huge. Anyway, we can't do that yet, I don't think. So this is 3, 4 or 5. There's definitely a 3. That's not 3. This isn't 6. This is 1 or 2 and is purple. So, now right. Oh, no. Okay, well now I can colour the 3s and the 4s, but I've done it some other way. I've done it because I've got a 5, 6 pair here, so that's got to be red. That's got to be grey. Grey is up there. Ooh, and grey is 3 or 4, so there's a 3 in the corner. Possibility. That's red over here. Grey is in either this square or this square, which must mean red is in one of those two squares. Now let's just check down here. Do we know anything about the world from that perspective? I've got an incredibly colourful grid here. 7 is not there by Sudoku, so we can repeat that trick. Oh, hang on. What's going on? No, okay, it's because I haven't pencil marked this box, so I can't see the equivalent cell. So 7 is, alright, so 7 is in one of those 3 cells, and 7 must be in one of these 3 cells, because there is a 7 in one of those 2 squares. There's a 7 in one of those 2 squares. 7 here would be useful. Oh, I know. That digit's higher. Well, when I say high, I'm using that slightly in an exaggerated way. I mean it's not 1, 2 or 3, because there is a 3 on this arrow, remember. So that's at least a 4, which means 4. And we're adding at least... where's... Oh, we don't know. No, that's in fact useless. Oh, bobbins. Oh, that's truly bobbins. Sorry. That's at least 4, so I'm not even sure it's worth pencil marking. It's not. Okay, no, I will pencil mark it because the 7 and the 9 reduce its possibilities to only 4 cells. So 4, 5, 6 or 8. But this could be as little as 2, look. Okay, sorry. How do we do this then? Well, this... Okay, that does take 7 out of this square. There we go. We've taken something out of this square. It also can't be 6. So this... well, okay, that square is restricted then. This one. It could be the opposite of purple, which is green. It could be that. But if it's not that, it can't be 3 or 4 or 5. So it is... Hang on, that means it is that. That's weird. I'm not sure I trust that deduction. I'm just going to check it again. If this is at least 4, and it is, that can't be 6. Yeah, and it just can't be 3, 4 or 5. So it is 1 or 2. That's huge. So now we know that that's green, which we... Oh, this is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to get more digits here because that now is not green, which means that's the 5. This is green, not blue. So now one of these two is green. It's going to be on the arrow, but we'll get back to that. 5 here. What's that do? Well... Oh, nearly. Very nearly. It's in one of those 2 squares in box 1. But we can, don't forget, we can repeat all this logic, which we've not done at all over here. So how do we do it? We said this square is at least 4, and it is at least 4 because there's a 3 on this arrow. So that's true. There, this is 5, 4, 5, 6 or 8. I remember there's a 7 and a 9 in that column. So there should be a 7 and a 9 in this row. Now this square... Now cannot be 6 and can't be 5, and there should be a 3, 4 pair, and there is. So this is purple. Let's put that in. It's 1 or 2. It's not 7. Now, might be a bit of children's noise in the background. I hope that you can you can juxtapose their nonsense with my nonsense. Okay, so that does, right. So that does the same thing here. That's now got to be 5. This is the 1 or the 2. So let's do that. Let's get rid of the blue from that. Entirely bluify this. Where is 5? Ah, bobbins. 5 in the top box. It's still got 4 positions, I want to say. 5 in this box is no longer on this arrow. I don't think I did that up there. No, I didn't. So this is now even, but we don't know whether this is odd or even, so we can't tell the parity of this one. What's the red digit? The red digit is 3 or 4. That's living down here somewhere. Oh, I'm getting confused here between my 6s, 7s and 8s, I think. Yeah, and yeah, no, this is simple actually. That's not 6. There'd be too many 6s in the bottom 2 rows. Because if that's 6, there's a 6 here, and I can't put 6 on the 9 arrow, which I must, then one of these is a 6-3 pair. So actually, that's not 6. Now, 8's okay, because 8 can escape to row 7. So this could be 9, only in the situation where this is 8, 1. Well, so hang on. If this is 8, it can't be 8, 2, can it? So it's either 8, 1, or it's 4, and 4 doesn't seem to be able to go with 1, because that would cause 5. So this is either a 6 or a 9, I think. Now, that must be the same here. So for the same reason this can't be 6. Is that true? Yes. 6 is in one of those cells, so 6 is knocked out of this square. So this is 4 or 8, which means this square is also 6 or 9. Now, these are different, are they, or not? Yeah, they are different, because these are different. So one of these is a 2. And we can't add 8 to 2. Right, this is amazing. So one of these is... These are different. One of them is a 9. And that's going to do what? But how do I... So it's going to have to be this... Ah, that's it. Look. One of these is a 9. So look at my pencil marks for 9s in box 3. I've got one in the corner. If that was a 9, neither of those could be 9. They'd both be forced to be 6. And that couldn't work because one of these would be a 1 and we can't add 5 to it. So that's not 9 in the corner. So 9 is now in one of these two cells. 9 is here, so 9 is now in one of these two cells. Ah, but do I know it's this one? I don't seem to. No, if that was 9, that would be 9. That would give me a 1-2 pair here. I'm sure that doesn't work. I don't think this is going to be a 1-2 pair. Come on. We're close now, I think. It's still possible this is grey if grey is 4. Well, in fact, one of these is going to be red or grey, isn't it? Because red and grey are a 3-4 pair, so one of these needs to be grey. So the symmetry is just starting. To crumble. How do we do this now? What have we actually learned? I don't know. That digit in the corner, what can that be? Because it sees both flavours of 1 and 2. It could be 3 or 4, I think. 3 in the corner is still possible, therefore. No, it can't be 4, because one of these is a 4. Can't be 5. Can't be... Oh, see, the 6s and 9s are different as well. So it's not 6, so it's 3, 7 or 8. Can we do better than that? No, it's not 8, because one of these is 8. Good grief. This is right down. This is 3 or 7. What does that do to this? Absolutely diddly squat. The littlest of diddlies it does. Oh, diddly doofus, that's what I say. What on earth am I meant to do then now? I feel like we've made loads of really interesting deductions and we're still very much unsolved. 5 is in one of those two. 5 is in one of these. 5 is in one of those two, which I think is the pencil mark I did up there, look. So that's not a sensible pencil mark. It would be great if we knew which one it was. Oh, does that mean one of those is a 5? Yeah, because one of these is a 3, 4, which means one of these has to add up to 6. Oh no, that could be 3, 4, 2, couldn't it? Wow, okay. I am struggling to see how I do this. I really am. Where's orange in this box? Orange is in one of two places. I don't think I've realised that before. Oh, this is... Oh, for goodness sake, you silly man. Brain's been useless again. Okay, that's huge. Because now it appears I can place orange in this column. It can only go there. Which means orange is in one of three cells, I want to say, in box number 3, including the corner cell. If orange was 7, it could go in the corner. All right, but what's the equivalent of the orange? Yellow. So can I do yellow then? Yeah, yellow looks like it's placed in this column. I've not put yellow in this column. It must go there. Okay, that's cool. So that's not yellow. Ah, go away, colour. Yellow is... Oh, yellow's getting close to there. But I don't think that was the same logic. Yeah, so the yellow is in one of those two cells. Oh, so maybe it is the same logic. No, no, it isn't. Yeah, so yellow along here now. Yellow's got to be in one of those three, and it can't be there by Sudoku, and it's not 1 or 2, so that's yellow, which means that's 6 or 7. That's definitely not purple. But now orange in this row is exactly there, isn't it? Which means these two are not orange. So this is 6 or 7. Yellow. Oh, look at this. Yellow's starting to get built up in the corner of box 3 now. Good grief. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, okay. So now yellow and orange are in the corners of this box, and yellow and orange are 6 and 7, so we can get 6 and 7 out of here. We're down to 5 or 8. Now, if this was 5, this would be 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's it. That's it. You can't... Look, if this was 5... These 4 cells have to add up to 10. They'd have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would become a Schrödinger simultaneous yellow and orange cell. Because that's the only place yellow and orange could go in the box, would be in the corner. So this is 8. And this is the first time we've got some really positive information out of this box. And it's going to do magic. Wait, I tell you it is. I'm sure it's going to do something. 8 is now in one of those 2 cells. So 8 is that a real pen? Yeah, that's a real pencil mark. 8. So 8's placed in box number 6, which means we should be able to get 8 in this box as well, if there's any justice. 8's in one of those 2 squares. There's a pencil marked 8 there, so we get 8 in box number 2. Double click the 8s in the hope that reveals more. No, it just reveals a whole load of dominoes that have got 8s in them. 5. 5 is in one of those 3 cells. It would be helpful if I knew this was 5. If this was 5, we would know that the way that the 8 arrow had to be made up would be with a 6 and a 2 and a 7. That would basically finish the puzzle if this was 5. Because that would have to be orange and that would have to be yellow. Which would be huge, wouldn't it? So how do we prove that? Why have I only got a green pencil marked into this box as well? Surely that means I can pencil mark purple. It does, of course it does. Purple's up there. One of those 2. So this, it looks to me like we're trying to... I think these two are going to be... No, not... Oh, this arrow is different, actually. I was going to say those two cells are going to have to be the low digits, but I was sort of thinking that one was... I thought this was symmetrical, but it's not. Okay. So how do we do this? I wish I knew. Is this 8s, 5s? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's a very easy way of doing this now. Actually, I'm not sure that's true. It could be true. Yeah, because that would allow me to put a 3 in the corner. If that was a 3 in the corner, then I couldn't put 5 on an arrow, and this would be a 5. I'd not only get a 3 in the corner, I get the 5 here, I get yellow green there, I get orange purple there, I get 9 here, and I'm not sure what this would be for, maybe. I've not... okay. So how do we do this then? Is this in some way obvious? I'm going to get rid of those 7s there, get rid of those 7s there. They're unnecessary. They're distracting me from the cause. Right. I'm sorry if you can all see how to do this. Oh, hang on. We've got a lot of stuff in this column. Have we got... no, I just don't know, do I? Because I don't know where the 9s go. It's infuriating. Oh, hang on a moment. Oh my goodness, right, this is obvious. So sorry again. Right. This arrow, I know what it is, don't I? It's not got 5 on it, so it's not 3, 5, and it's not got an orange on it. So whatever orange is, it cannot be. An orange is 6 or 7. So it must have yellow on it, or it cannot exist, because there are only 3 ways of making 8. Oh, for goodness sake. So this does have yellow on it. I'm not sure what... Well, it means that's yellow. That's what it definitely means. That's definitely yellow. That's definitely not yellow. And do we know... Of course we do from this. We know what yellow goes with to make 8. It's green. So that is definitely and definitively green. And that loses its colour. So we get a green here. We get a 6 or a 7 here. I can see what this is doing actually. It's giving me that digit. But let's just pause for a moment and think. I know green is in one of these 2 squares. This is completely comical colouring. Yeah, but I think, look what this is doing. It's taking yellow out of this square and plonking it into this square, which means that it's 6. We've got a digit. We've disambiguated the nature of yellow. Yellow is 6, which means this can't be 8. So that's 4. Green is 2. I don't really dare double click because it's not going to understand all of these weird pencil marks. But surely that's going to do stuff, because now, well, now we know that purple is 1. Let's put 1 in everywhere. And we know that that one is, hang on, we haven't put the 6 in there. We know that's 7. This is 5, so this is 4. We know red now. Red has become 4. We know this is 6 and this is 3, so grey has become 3. Right, this arrow needs a 5. This arrow needs a 3. This is an 8. This is a 6. We know the order, 7 and 6. We know those are 6s. We know these are 7s. Good grief. I think this is 8. This is 7. This is not 1. That's not 2. This is 9 now, isn't it? So that makes that one an 8. We're going to have to tidy up our colouring at the end. We need 3, 4 and 7. So this is 3 or 4. This one is 4. 4 in the corner. So that's 3. And this is a 7. So this has broken the symmetry well and truly, because this 7 is not on this arrow. Which must mean one of these arrows is a 5-3 arrow, and that's going to have to be this one. So that's 5, that's 3. Okay, that's probably important. That's 7. We need 3 and 8 over here. We get 8 in the corner. I haven't had any. No, I've got no 3s in the corner. I was just thinking, where are my 3s in the corner? I've got 1 and 9 over here. I don't know if that's resolved. Probably is, but I can't see how. In this box, I've not put 4 in, have I? Oh, the 1. That's the 1 by Sudoku. So that's a 9. These two squares are 4 and 9. And we know the order. So 9 and 4 go into the grid. This square here is a 3. This box needs a 1 in it. And we don't know where that goes. And a 4, but we know where the 4 goes. So that does that. That becomes 9, 2, 1. Ah, that's weird. That's weird. So this didn't split across the diagonal with the 1, 2. I was sure that was going to work like that. I'm almost worried I've made a mistake now. 4 and 2 go in here. This box has not had a 7 in it, so we better put one of those in. This box has not had a 5 in it. And now the pencil marking has all gone completely doolally, hasn't it? So let's double click all of those and remove purple where it's where it's not needed anymore. 6s. Have we? No, we have not done our 6s properly over here. So those two both need to be fully yellow. Those lose their yellow. 7s should only be orange in the places where 7s actually exist. So that needs to be orange. That needs to be orange. 8, I don't know if we had a colour for 8. No, 8 was somewhat achromatic, wasn't it? Oh, 5s all need to be, oh goodness me. Hang on, let's click that. 5s all need to be blue. 4s all need to be red, only red as well. So red comes out of these cells. 3s, we did definitely have a colour for 3s. 3s need to be grey wherever they live. Not white, so we can get rid of those. Not red either. That one's not grey. So all of those get done. That's not grey. This one, 2 was what? 2 was meant to be green, so that can be green. That can be green. I think the 2s are all done. So it was 8s and 9s were the only colours that were not afforded colours at the end of the day, or the only numbers that weren't afforded colours. So something like this. Have I already clicked tick? I haven't, but it was right, and that's a relief. Solve count of 47 times in 7 days, so we're averaging just under 7 a day for people who've managed to solve hiding spots by Xendari. It is a very challenging puzzle, actually. Very, very interesting. I'm not even sure. I don't know whether I found the right way through that or not, to be honest. I found a way through it that was logical. But it was far from clear. I mean, there were beautiful steps. I love the way that this all unfolded, but I suspect I could have done some maths down here that would have helped me out. And I didn't spot that whether this was 7 or 8, it's taking two low digits on the arrows, and that was forcing this to be away. That would have saved me a bit of time. But I love the fact like there was a 3 on each of these 9 arrows. That was far from is far from obvious, and yet it was really helpful because it put pressure on these arrows up here. I mean, the selection of symmetries that have been created here is exquisite. It really is. So it's a brilliant puzzle, and full of micro deductions that are ever so fine. Loved it. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I look forward to the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.